Well, good morning, everyone. And once again, welcome to another live this morning. Hope you're having a great start to your day. And we'll wait a moment or two to say hello to a few folks, as our custom is. Wendy, good morning. You're the first one up. Good to see you. Rosalinda, good morning. Niagara Falls. Marin, how are you? Mike from Norland, Nativity, and Rosa, good morning. Nice to have you guys on with us this morning. Kim, and you're on vacation. Well, good for you, Kim. Linda, St. Jude, Quebec. Zian Brière, good morning. And Prida, and Derek, and Reja, and Lori Lee, Ventura, California, and Jocelyn, Michelin, Sturgeon Falls, both. Maria, good morning. Nice to have you guys on. Julie, Sturgeon Falls, well represented this morning. Bruno, you know what we're talking about today? Probiotics. Tina, Colette, right from Sudbury. Donna, and Gail, good morning to you. Joanne, we appreciate you guys. Anne, how are you? You're feeling blessed, and so am I, and feeling very blessed. Joan, Vera, Newfoundland. Holly, Colorado, heading to Colorado. Colleen, Mary, Dale, and Arlene, good morning to you. Simon, how are you? And Connie, good morning, Connie. How you doing? Zian, hello, Zian. Good morning to you. And Jean, our dear friends. You get Yolande. I was waiting for you, Yolande. Good morning to you. Natalie, Lorraine, and Joe. Good morning, Joe. How are you? And Fran, let's get going. A couple of more. Bonnie, how are you? From Minnesota, Annandale, Minnesota. Well, good morning to you, Annandale, Minnesota. Doris and Donna, we appreciate you guys more than you know. Sonia and Marcia, Micheline, and Nellie. Okay, so this morning I'm going to give you a little bit of a teaching. I figure I don't have to do it because you guys know so much. But I thought I would reinforce the idea, that at last Wednesday, Tony Jr. and I did a seminar, and we called it the Fabulous Five, right? Like just things that we want to cover the bases in terms of supplements. What we did, this is years ago, we made a change in terms of probiotics, okay? So remember now, go back 40 years, I recommended probiotics for people, okay? People didn't even know what it was, okay? It's even longer than that. And, but, people would ask us in those days, and I would tell them, well, at least twice a year, make sure you're taking probiotics. But what we know today, compared to what we knew then, you're always learning, right? Never stop learning. This is very, very important, okay? And I know I'm preaching to the choir because most of you come on, if you can, in the morning with us, and, you're always getting more information. I appreciate that. And listen, guys, I spend more time reading studies and articles because my education never ends. I'm fascinated by the human body, and I'm fascinated about prevention. I'm fascinated about food. And, what I knew in the 1970s, I thought I was pretty smart. in the 1970s. I took 2,000 hours of nutrition and, studied it. But compared to today, never ending. So what we knew about probiotics back in the 70s compared to 2021, I mean, there's really no comparison. And, of course, here we talk about the microbiome, which is just your bacteria all over your body, on your skin, inside your gut mostly. I always tell people take 3 to 5. Well, Tony says 5. Tony Jr. says 5 pounds, and I say 3 pounds. It's probably 4. Okay? So when you step on a scale, I give you permission to take 3 pounds off. People like that. But it's true. Whether your microbiome is, good or bad, it weighs 3 pounds. Like if you only have bad bacteria, that's not a good thing. You don't have a good blend of good, bad, and ugly. Remember that movie? Good, Bad, and Ugly. Was it Clint Eastwood? I don't remember. All I know is this. That makes up your body, and the ugly is yeast. So what I want to do this morning is teach you how to read a label when it comes to probiotic. Now listen, medically, your fermented foods, okay, from sauerkraut to pickles, yogurt, they're not really classified as probiotic. Now, they have probiotics in them, but they're not, to be classified as probiotics, they have to be therapeutic and have enough bacteria in there to be classified as a true probiotic. So listen, I love fermented foods. Fermented foods are good for you, but they're not therapeutic in the sense that you're going to get a multi-strain probiotic out of that. Okay, so look, guys, you know me. I love to talk to you about food. And, I don't want you to ditch dairy. I want you to switch dairy. And so if you have a Greek plain yogurt and you want to take that, it's fairly high in protein and it's got CLA in it and, conjugated linoleic acid. I don't know if that impresses you or not. It's good. I'm not saying it's not good for you. All I'm saying is don't take that for a probiotic, okay? Because you're just fooling yourself. There's not enough probiotic in there. Mice couldn't change their microbiome with a yogurt or fermented foods, kombucha, right? They're good though, okay? So like I said, I'm not saying they're no good for you. They are good for you. I'm just telling you, don't rely on that to change your microbiome, okay? Because it won't. It's not powerful enough. There's not enough strains and there's not enough, okay? So when you look at a probiotic, okay? So I got our probiotics here, okay? When you look at a label, all strains, okay? So let me use an illustration, okay? You know what a dog is? Yeah, okay. Well, there's a lot of different types of dogs, isn't there? Breeds, right? Everything's a dog. It's a dog, but what kind of dog is it? Okay? Because there's breeds. So when you look at bacteria, there's different breeds, different strains of bacteria. So when you look at them, very simply, and everything is in Latin. You know how much I hate Latin. I hated it in high school. We were, I think, the last generation in high school, as far as I know, okay, that had to take Latin. I hated every minute of it. Okay? I mean, because I remember our teachers in high school saying, well, if you ever want to go to medical school, you better know Latin. And nah. Well, yeah, they used Latin. That was, why do you think they did that? So that you, the public, Joe Public, would be ignorant of medicine. Medicine, even today, although it's decreasing big time because of social media, because of programs like this one and others, and people can read and they study, but you got to remember medicine, me doctor, don't question. You know what I mean? And so they use Latin. Do you know what latissimus dorsi is? Who cares? Well, it's a muscle in your back. Oh, I hated Latin. Why didn't they just use English like the rest of us? But when you look at a probiotic, every strain starts with an L or a B. Okay, that's all you have to remember about different strains. Okay, they start with L or B. Lactobacillus and bifidum. Okay, so they're just different types of probiotic. Your body's made up of different types of probiotic. Okay? And your microbiome is made up of different types of probiotic. Starts with an L or a B. So you got that? Big Latin words to confuse. Okay? Now, different strains do different things. You see, one reason that I love broad spectrum, what do I mean by that? Many different strains. You have to have, okay, according to a broad spectrum definition, you have to have 10 different strains of bacteria. 10 different ones. L's and B's. Okay? Most probiotics don't do that. They don't. They're not broad spectrum. So it's important, guys. It really is, because when you study the microbiome, you find out different strains do different things. And they can give you a complete protection. Okay? So that's important, to get a broad spectrum probiotic. So we got that? So start with an L or a B. Different strains do different things. And you want a broad spectrum, at least 10 different strains. That is how a probiotic is classified, as a broad spectrum probiotic. Now, I want to talk to you about individual species of bacteria. I don't want to get into the weeds. I'm going to make this simple so that you understand it. Why? Yeah, look, I always tell people, one thing that we did is when you're in the clinic, you better get results. And people, go back into the 70s, the 80s, once even probiotics started, getting some ink, even in the medical community, they thought of probiotics, and even today, generally, and I say generally, there's exceptions. Generally, unless you keep up with the research, most doctors would agree probiotics are good for you, but they don't know anything about them. They're not taught in medical school about the microbiome. Okay, so if they're doing any extra training, I for example, in Sudbury, I had 2-3 GI doctors, gastrointestinal specialists, who would send me patients, and they were smart. Not because they were sending me patients. They were smart because they knew that probiotics are important. And these were specialists. And they trusted me because I knew about probiotics. I knew about different strains. I knew how to treat different conditions with probiotics. I had to get results, if for nothing else for my patients, but for their patients. I had to get results. And so the blend that I put together, there's a reason for it. Different strains do different things. So when you're eating yogurt, okay, please, you can eat yogurt. Plain, Greek, high protein, low in carbohydrates. That's not bad for you. The other ones are full of sugar, so don't eat yogurt. There's so much crap in there, I can't stand it. Okay? But different strains do different things. So let's get one that you might even know about, acidophilus, okay? But it starts with an L. Lactobacillus. L, acidophilus. So it's a dog, and here's the type of dog it is. Okay? Lactobacillus, it's a dog. Acidophilus, it's a certain type of dog. Okay? And then you see what we do in our formula, because this is a key. Lactobacillus acidophilus, which most probiotics have it, after all. We put, listen to this, 24 billion of them in every capsule. Why is that? Well, because Lactobacillus acidophilus coats your entire intestine, okay? It coats your entire digestive tract. It actually, acidophilus, okay, actually coats from your sinuses to your stomach. Yeah, you got bacteria in your stomach too. To your gut. All of it. All 26 feet of your intestine. Covers it. So that's a good foundation, and that's where we put the most of that strain, acidophilus. 24 billion. But we don't stop there. You shouldn't stop there, because they're different things do different things. Let me give you a B one. We put 2 B's. Okay? Bifidobacterium. Oh, that Latin. I want to scream. Bifidum Bifidobacterium bifidum. How do you like that one? Why didn't they just call it Fido? I mean it. I go crazy when I hear big names like that. No wonder people get discouraged, right? I mean, these huge names. But again, just remember, you see a B at the start, so it's a different strain. It has a different family. It's a dog, but it's a different family. Okay? And it doesn't start with an L, it starts with a B. Okay? So you know, it's an L or a B. And then it tells you what strain it is, the bifidum. Well, bifidum really helps, okay? And the reason I use it, because it really helps with discomfort in the bowel. Tremendous for bowel pain. It's study after study. These strains have been tested and studied. And clinically, I can tell you that if you're using the bifidum, you're going to help with real discomfort. Like you got somebody that you know that has diverticulosis. Well, you need the bifidum. Now you need acidophilus as a general one, okay? Because it covers the whole gut with bacteria. It really repopulates the gut. Like giving your gut good guys. Remember, there's a war going on. Every day you're killing off bacteria just by living on planet Earth. From the air you breathe to the chemicals that are in foods and the environment, medications, we talked about that yesterday. They will kill your good bacteria. You take an antibiotic, you're wiping out all your acidophilus in a nanosecond. 5 days, it's gone. You better repopulate it. You better repopulate your gut. And diverticulosis, if you don't know what that is, a little pouches, especially on the transverse colon, okay? So would be on the left side of your gut. It's a woman's condition, mostly, for two reasons. Now, don't get mad at me, okay? I'm just going to tell you what I think. Because women eat too much salad. I'm not getting mad. I'm just saying it. Salad. They eat too much of it. Too much fiber. Fiber, doc. I need my fiber. No, you don't. Okay? And it irritates to creating holes or little pouches in your gut. Oh man, they can be very painful and very dangerous. Because if diverticulosis becomes diverticulitis, and here's another thing, by the way, okay, just let me say this about diverticulosis, okay? Remember I showed you a picture of it last week or the week before. I brought up my chart and showed you a picture of it. But what I'm saying is, when you get diverticulosis, ladies, it's because you bought the lie of fiber. And what gets caught in your teeth? You know, sometimes you're in a restaurant, you're talking to somebody, and all they can look at is your teeth, because you got spinach right in the middle of your tooth there. And you don't know it, but they do. Well, those little things get caught in your gut, too. Oh. Plus, like I say, diverticulosis is a perfect storm. It's low-fat eating, too much fiber. Oh, Dr. Martin, I need my oatmeal. No, you don't. Too much fiber and two, something that, so your guts gets irritated, and you know what pours gasoline on it? Ladies, this is for you. Stress, cortisol. Cortisol, ooh, you know what I mean? Like you're uptight. And that pours gasoline on the fire of diverticulosis. It's like wildfire in that gut. That's where the pain can come in. That's where the serious discomfort can come in. Too much fiber? You're not going to hear that. You won't hear this anywhere else, pretty well. Because I'm going to tell you what doctors think of diverticulosis. You're not getting enough fiber. Brought to you by Kellogg's. Brought to you by the cereal companies. Man, they were good at marketing. Oh man, they brought the whole world with them. Drives me mental. What? Well, you gotta have fiber, man. If you don't have fiber, you gotta, you gotta have it because you're gonna die without fiber. No, it's big time overrated. Okay? No, I'm not saying you can't ever eat fiber, okay? Don't come back at me. Well, you can come back at me. I don't mind. I want you to think. I'm bringing to you my experience, okay? And I think things through. Why? In the last, let's say, 20, 30 years of my practice, why did I see so much diverticulosis? It really bothered me. Why is it so much? And why is it always women? I'm not saying, look, I've seen diverticulosis in men, but rare. I talked to you about the gallbladder. Why do women get gallbladder problems? Well, two reasons. One, hormones. The smooth muscle of your gallbladder is affected by the amount of progesterone you make. So is your bladder. And the smooth muscle of that little sac of your gallbladder, if you don't have enough, that's why a lot of women, after they've had a baby, they lose their gallbladder. What happened? Well, they had a baby. Okay, what's that mean? Well, they lost all their progesterone in the placenta, and then their body didn't make enough of it coming back. That's how you get estrogen dominance. Too much estrogen, not enough progesterone. That can give you a lot of symptoms, including postpartum depression. How come I'm over there now talking about that? Oh yeah, the gallbladder. And the second reason is you're eating fat-free. Why is it women? Hormones and fat-free. Oh, I eat fat-free, doc. Well, that's stupid. I don't mind telling you. That's not good for you. And fat don't make you fat. Sugar makes you fat. And sugar will destroy your gallbladder. Okay? It's one of the, and it'll create a lot of inflammation even for your gut. Plus, okay, so we got sidetracked a little bit about diverticulosis, but I want you to understand your gut. So you need a broad spectrum probiotic. I'll give you another B that we use, okay, by Bifidobacterium bifidum, and we use another B, Bifidobacterium longus. It means it's long. Why don't they just say long strain of probiotic? But they don't. They want to use the long one. You know what this one does, though, guys? You know what this one does? Bifidobacterium longus. You know what it does? It helps break carbs down. You want that one. For when you're eating carbs, you want this Bifidobacterium longus. I insist on putting that in our formula. The reason I do it is because I know most people are carboholics. My name is Tony, and I'm a carboholic. I'm in remission. Okay? I'm in remission. I have to, I need to go to meetings. You're my meeting, by the way. Okay? Every day I come on with you. I'm in a Carboholic Anonymous meeting with you. And we're talking. I mentioned this yesterday because somebody came on and said, Dr. Martin's always talking about these two strains, and I can't find it in his, well, we sort of hide it. No, for years, I can tell you that I don't even know how they would even know. I'm just a little guy in Sudbury, Ontario. But I guess because I had a radio show or whatever for 20 years, and, I guess the word got out. Dr. Martin really has a powerful probiotic that he's formulated, and people tried to copy it. And it was proprietary. So we put a little spin on it so that people couldn't copy it. But anyways, two strains that I really like. I mean, do I say more than others? Because people ask me this all the time, okay? It was asked yesterday, actually, on the private Facebook group. Dr. Martin, why do you talk about rhamnosus, lactobacillus? Remember the L. And this is rhamnosus and reuteri. Those are really important strains because rhamnosus and reuteri are really immune-boosting probiotics. They're really famous for that. They've been studied and studied and studied from people that study bacteria. And rhamnosus I like, and reuteri in that combination, you know why? Because it kills yeast. It kills yeast. I like that because, as I've taught you many, many, many times, there's an invasive army. If you lose your probiotic or your microbiome changes and it's damaged and you're not replenishing, or you've taken an antibiotic, or you're a sugarholic or a carboholic, you're feeding the bears. When I say you're feeding the bears, you're feeding the bad guys, the yeast, fungus, Candida albicans. It will spread like wildfire through your body, guys. You need to stop that. Because again, I mentioned it yesterday, but there are people that know their stuff, including oncologists, who say that all cancers, all tumors, all of them have a start with yeast. Think of yeast, guys. Outside your body, what do you do with it? You don't need a lot of it. I don't know anything about bread, but if you want bread to rise, what do you use? Yeast. The Bible says a little leaven, yeast, spoils the batch, right? Because you only need a little bit, and that bread's going to rise. True or false? Of course it is. So yeast, outside the body, you make bread with it. Okay. But inside your body, it spreads. It'll take over. And it's very insidious in the sense that you don't even know it. Most people, they have no idea. Oh, they get a bladder infection and they think it's bacteria. And I go, it's probably yeast. They do autopsies on Parkinson's, MS, autoimmune diseases. You know what they find? Candida, yeast. And I've talked to you about cancer, yeast. It's invasive. How does it get the rest of your body? Well, if your microbiome is compromised, yeast is going to invade the body. It'll come into the bloodstream. Oh, I remember doctors screaming because I get patients, that would go see their doctors for whatever. And, oh boy, what? I mean it. They'd scream. Dr. Martin told you had yeast? He's a quack. He doesn't know what he's talking about. If you had any yeast in your bloodstream, it would kill you immediately. Now, I understand why they say that. Because you can get a fungal infection. This is a big thing that they don't talk too much about, even in the pandemic that we've had for the last 18 months. One of the things that can happen is you literally get a yeast infection or a fungal infection, and antibiotics do nothing for that. Well, as a matter of fact, they make it worse. They make it worse. And that can be a side effect. And I understand what they say, it can kill you. But most times you get any kind of fungus or yeast, because doctors, all they think of, oh, you don't have toe fungus. Right? So if they don't see it on your toe, and if it's on your toe, what are they worried about? It's just that in your toenail, but they know it can get into your bloodstream. It can be dangerous. Now, it's rare from the toe, but not from the gut, guys. And I'm telling you, you name me the autoimmune disease. From Crohn's to ulcerative colitis to rheumatoid arthritis to scleroderma to MS. I consider Parkinson's to be autoimmune. Guys, it's yeast, it's fungus. You need lactobacillus rhamnosus and lactobacillus reuteri. Ooh, those big names, I can't stand it. They are so protective. They are so good for you. Okay, so I'm not going to talk about all of them. Different strains, remember, do different things. Okay? Just like when you see a dog. Yeah, it's a dog. It's not a cat. But there's different types. Okay. And in bacteria, different strains, different types do different things. And that's why you want a broad spectrum. Okay? Now, just a couple other things. Ours are soil-based. They do not need to be refrigerated. Okay? So 50 billion in the capsule. When you take it months and months and months later, it's 50 billion in the capsule. They don't die. That's why soil-based are so good. Okay? That's why I like them. That's why we choose them. Okay? I just wanted to teach you that because You know, if you get a dairy probiotic and it says you need to refrigerate them, you need to more than refrigerate them. In my opinion, you should freeze them. Well, you can't travel with them. Okay? Remember traveling? Remember what that is? Traveling? Oh, what a world. Okay. I want to say hello to the folks up in I'm doing a seminar tonight in Kippawa, Quebec. Actually doing a live one, traveling to Kippawa. We're going to talk about, because it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and they asked me to come and speak to them, and that's what I'll do tonight. So I just want to say hello to anyone. Madeleine, I didn't notice your name, but this morning, at least I didn't see it, but we'll see you later on today, Lord willing. Okay, guys, have I told you lately that I love you? That's a song. I'd sing it for you, but I don't want to turn you off. Okay, so Friday question and answer. If you haven't got a copy of the book, The Reset, 30-day program that can change your life, guys. It'll take you from being a carboholic and put you into remission. Take you from being a diabetic and put you into remission. It's good for every major metabolic disorder. Okay? Because it's going to empty your liver. It's going to fix your insulin resistance. It'll fix it. So that's really important, okay? So if you haven't had a copy of the book, then get a copy, okay? They're available. So guys, we love you. We'll talk to you soon.